Hello everybody, how's it going? It's the Flying Pig here. Good afternoon on Flying Pig United with another cheeky little update for you. All the latest days, Manchester United news and all the latest transfer goings on in one place, right here on Flying Pig United. Thank you very much for joining us, dudes. Do us a favour at the start of this video and smash that like button on it if you're just joining or catching up later on. Smash the like, get down below in the comment section or the live chat and have your say throughout the show. Get your thoughts and opinions in, peeps, and let's be having you. Thank you everyone for joining. Agay Maxwell, what's going on there? Jay King, Niall Kane, hello to you too. Rush Mano, HH Gaming, Neil Duffin. Thank you so much, Neil Duffin, you legend. Get in there, my son. Thank you very much, dude. Says, congratulations on 50,000 bacons. Thank you very, very much for that, Neil Duffin, you legend. Kingface, Michael, Kyle, everyone, thank you for joining us. All the legends in the live chat. Appreciate you being here. We're going to cover all the latest United news throughout the show. So, I mean, let's just get stuck into it then, peeps. So the biggest sort of stories of the day, really, are in terms of transfers. Manchester United being linked with a couple of new players, or not new links, but, you know, fresh links in terms of this January transfer window. The biggest one, which is a player who we came up against the other day and did really well against us, which he usually does, to be fair, is Ruben Neves at Wolverhampton Blunderers, peeps. Portuguese vibes. Now, the links are coming out that Rangnick is supposed to have some sort of interest in. He did see him put in a good performance against us the other day. To be fair, we've been talking about Ruben Neves for a couple of seasons now on this channel because he is a very good young player. He's still only 24 now, so he's only getting better. He's coming towards his prime now. But considering, you know, all the options that Manchester United have available to them as midfielders that we could sign, if you're looking at players that are at teams that are not the top teams, that are not huge amounts of money, that are not on huge wages, but still have the potential to be a top player, maybe, you know, age-wise, potential-wise, ability-wise, and sort of how they've developed up until this point, I don't see how you could do really much better, actually, than Ruben Neves, to be fair, because he's not that much money, because Wolverhampton Wanderers would, you know, they don't want a one-to-way player on their hands. They can't price him out the market and ask for 60 million, 70 million. He's a 40 million pound player, really. So, you know, that is one good positive point for Manchester United, is the point that we wouldn't have to pay an absolute fortune for somebody like that. You've got lots of Portuguese players at Manchester United as well. I'm sure he just bed in. United needs somebody who can sit deeper in Manchester United's midfield and is comfortable on the ball, passing it around, you know, can defend, but can also keep hold of the ball, you know, somebody to just do a very low-key job there and tick things over in our midfield, a la a Michael Carrick or something like that. So, to me, you know, is Ruben Neves one of the top players in the world? No. But in a couple of years' time, could he be? Well, maybe so. I mean, he's only 24. He has actually done very, very well up until this point. He's at Wolves, you know, he's come from through Porto, I believe, in Portugal, and he's obviously come through Wolves in the Premier League. He's got that experience. I like him, guys. I like him. I've always liked him. I hope that this story is true, that Manchester United have been linked with him. My only concern is obviously Wolves. Would they want to lose one of their key players in the middle of the season? Probably not. So United probably would have to pay a bit of a premium for him. But you have to remember, United have a lot of players in our books that we want to get rid of right now. And surely there's a deal to be done with Wolves or, you know, whoever we were going to go with to maybe get somebody going in the opposite direction. Take your pick. We've got a lot of fucking melters who would probably do a lot worse than going to play for Wolves, in all fairness. So, you know, I don't see how, if Man United had ambition and we want to actually try and get into the top few this season in the league and win things in the Champions League and all the rest of it, I don't see why we don't go in this January transfer window and buy two midfielders, because that's clearly the problem area for us. I mean, I really like what Berber said a moment ago, which was absolutely class, to be fair. You know, he said he's big, he's red, he's better than McFred, Ruben Neves. You know, the chant writes itself, and it's absolutely spot on, and it's 100% true, because he is better than what we've got at the moment, in all fairness. And he's just the right age, isn't he? I mean, listen, guys, it's one of those, isn't it? He's not a truly world-class player at this stage, but he's somebody that I think has experience and is going to get better in the future, and so it's a good signing because of all those factors. It's not a huge amount. He's already got Premier League experience. He's getting better. Portuguese vibes in the midfield there. Bruno Fernandes, Dallo, Ronaldo. You know, it's nice. It makes sense. I'll just ask you then, guys. Let's have a little vote in the live chat for everybody that's in here. Smash a 1 in the live chat if you think that Manchester United should sign Ruben Neves. We should go and get him. Or smash a 2 in there if you think no, he's not the man. maybe he's not the man to do it in a Rangnick system. People always talk about this. Maybe you need somebody who's a bit stronger, a bit bigger, a bit, more physical in a defensive role if you're going to be playing a Rangnick press. I don't know. But I personally think he's got the tenacity. I think he's a good defensive midfielder. He's somebody that can just sort of sit back, be the playmaker as well, and spray things around. Ashley Martin says 1. Gangster Time thinks we should get him. Old Dirty Benjo says no. Rob says yes. Leah Rose says yes. Michael Dubell says yes. R. King says yes. Gungshi says yes. Get in there, my son. Guys, thank you everyone who's in here. Smash that like button. We're just coming up to 50 likes. Do hit the thumbs up on the video. Get your opinions in. Jonathan Gallagher says 1 at this stage. We need any CDM. Coutinho's been mentioned, says Ruthless Sausage. We can't have that ex-Liverpool scummer. Plus, he's going to want a huge amount of money. I don't like that, Link. We don't need him right now. Irish girl, what's going on? How are you doing? She says, sign anyone. I know that's pretty much the case, isn't it? So we'll get on to the rest of the transfer news in a second. But yeah, sign anyone. Absolutely. Colin Archer, Gangster Times. Neil Duffin says, Neves can pass a 5-yard ball. That's Fred out. Precisely, that's what I'm saying. He does have a great range of passing on him. You look at how we have lacked the control. Rangnick talks about having this control in the midfield. And we've lacked that control because we have erratic passers in the team. Sometimes they can hold it up to a decent standard within a game. But most of the time, over the course of the season, they're not good enough. Fred, McTominay, these guys are the main culprits. So, yeah, I couldn't agree more, really. McFred has reached its limit here at United. They're decent squad players, they're decent backup players, they're decent rotation players. But they shouldn't need to be starting in any games for Manchester United. We need to sign 2 midfielders. So Sky Sports reporting, earlier on, guys, Sky Sports reporting that Manchester United are interested in Wolves' Ruben Neves and Marseille's Boubacar Kamara among targets. So it's also said that Newcastle United and Roma are also interested in this moment in time at Boubacar Kamara, the Marseille central midfielder, 21 years of age. Great prospect. United should go and sign him too, because he's not a huge value player. I think they're talking about something like 10 or 12 million pounds for that guy. So if we can get a midfielder in who could be better than what we've got right now, I suggest we take the risk. But anyway, he's out of contract in the summer, Kamara. He can actually sign a pre-contract agreement with a club outside of France. So that's interesting. Neves, on the other hand, his contract situation is he is contracted to Wolves until the summer of 2024. So a couple of years left on his contract, but still, it is running down. If Wolves want to get top dollar for him now, if the plan is not to keep him, or if an offer comes in, then now's a good time to sell him, because they will get top dollar for him. So that would be positive. I mean, in terms of Neves, what he's had to say about the situation, in the past, a month ago, he was asked about the situation, coming into the January transfer window. This isn't a recent quote today or anything. This is from 1 month ago, with a Portuguese media outlet Record last month. He said, when asked about the links to Manchester United, he said it's normal in football. Whenever there's a transfer market, there's lots of talk. But my goal and focus are on Wolverhampton, and I'm not going to change that. Things have been really going well for me. I still have a lot to learn, and I have a lot to give here. So, he said all the right, fantastic things. He says the future will soon be seen. I like to live in the present, and I'm happy. I feel great in Wolverhampton on our focus here, because if I do things right, I'm sure the future will be bright. My goal will always be to give my best and give even more for the club. Sounds like a bit of a Don, really, to be fair, like definitely not giving anything away there, exactly what you would say. Obviously, he's not going to come out and do a Romelu Lukaku and say, I want to go play for Manchester United when he's looking contracted to Wolves, you would think. But he said all the right things there. This is what Ruben Neves is 24. They signed him from Porto. I think it was 16 million. He's made almost 200 appearances for Wolves. He scored 21 goals from midfield. He can get you a goal. He's not statistically wise. He's not fantastic. If you're talking, but like I say, he's playing in a deeper role. He's playing in a sort of not defensive, defensive, sitting in the defensive midfield role and spraying it around. But also, he can get forward. He can score you a goal. He's got great technique. But if you look at his statistics over the course of the last few seasons in the Premier League, they're not going to blow you away. Neither would Michael Carrick's, I suppose. But it doesn't tell the whole story. So. This season so far, 18 appearances, 1 assist, 1 goal. It's not going to blow you away, is it? But he's a metronome in midfield here for Wolves. It's essentially ticking things over the rest of the team to play. And in the Premier League last season, 36 appearances for Wolves, 5 goals, 1 assist. That can't be right. But that's what it says. Anyway, Premier League, the season before, 38 appearances. So this is somebody who's robust and stays physically fit as well. I mean, over the last couple of seasons, he's basically played every single game for Wolves, which is a big plus when United have a team full of bottle job, injury-prone merchants. Let's be honest, that's a big plus. Anyway, 2 goals and 2 assists that season. The season before, 18-19 for Wolves in the Premier League, 35 games, 4 goals, 3 assists. Listen, these aren't going to blow you away, guys, but as I just said, it's the type of player that he is. You know, he's not going to be playing in the CAM role, attacking teams, scoring goals like galore. He's going to be, what United would be signing him for is to play in that holding 2, you know, or whatever formation we're playing, as a defensive-minded midfielder, as somebody who's going to sit and play the ball around and essentially be a defensive midfielder, but a deep-lying playmaker. You know, so that is what we're looking at here. Statistically, not fantastic, eh? But there you go. Yeah, okay, Colin Archer says Bruno used to be our playmaker. He needs to step up or leave. Wow, okay. The Portuguese Magnifico was our best player for 18 months. He has had a bad spell. There's been a new change, new system. Let's give him a chance. I think he's still a classy individual. But anyway, Ruben Neves' stats there don't make for that much of an interesting read. But I just wanted to mention it. I think Ruben is obviously a very good seasoned Premier League player, and he's only 24. So it'd make a lot of sense to get him in. We've got 100 of you legends in here, guys. Thank you for joining us. Please do hit that subscribe button, by the way, if you're new to the channel. If it's your first time here, hit that sub. It's free. Get yourself involved in the live chat. Smash the thumbs up on the video as well. Leave a cheeky little like. Give us a boost up there on the YouTube algo. That would be much appreciated. And let's talk about Ruben Neves' value. So I'm going to ask you in the live chat, how much do you think it would take for Man United to sign Ruben Neves in the January window? You've got to pay a little bit more, obviously. He's got over 2 years left on his contract. January premium to get a player from opposition team in the Premier League, which is going to seriously hurt them unless you give them enough money for them to go and sign a significantly good player themselves as a replacement. Or I guess you could do some sort of swap deal, maybe. But I mean, 35 million says K-Sing. Sheikh Mohammed says 30, 25 million max for Neves. I'm going to say, I think to sign him in January, United will have to cough up 40 mil, 35 to 40 mil. You know, that's personally what I think. 35 to 40 million pounds, really. You can't get him for less than that. He's too good. In fact, on Transfer Market, his current market value is 36 million pounds at this moment in time. That's what they say. I would say you could even ask for a bit more than that if you're Wolves, because he is a very good player. He is a big key player for them as well. It's not quite, I don't know, Jack Grealish at Villa, but it's not far away. He's a big player for them. He's young and has a lot of potential too. So yes, I mean, he's definitely a good player, definitely a player we should all be looking to sign. He's had 26 caps for Portugal. He's obviously got a connection with Ronaldo, Bruno and Dalot. This could only mean positive things for Manchester United. The big question mark is, though, is Ralf Rangnick really truly interested in this guy for his style system? I would hope he would be, because I think Ruben Neves could give us what we need, but he might opt for... There's a couple of other midfielders that we've been linked with, like we just discussed. Sky Sports reporting we're still interested in Boubacar Kamara. This is what they say. They say Marseille's Boubacar Kamara and Wolves' Ruben Neves are 2 of a number of players that Manchester United have been looking at in their search for a new midfielder. Newcastle and Roma are also interested in Kamara, who's out of contract in the summer and could sign a pre-contract with a club outside France. It may be one for the summer. Maybe it's sign him up to a pre-contract deal now and bring him in the summer. Or maybe we do just give them a few £1 million and get him in sooner rather than later, because we actually need midfielders now. In terms of what he's done in the game up until this point, he's only been doing it for Marseille in a pig-in farmers league. Let's be fair. But statistically, and from what you hear about him as a player, he seems like a very good prospect for the future. So is it a risk when he's really not very much money for United right now to get an extra midfielder in? It's not a risk. We should do it. We should get in 2 midfielders. We're playing at the moment under Ralf Rangnick. What are we doing? It seems like we're playing like a 4-2-2-2. But the holding midfielders in a Rangnick system, it doesn't work. He hasn't got the right players for that. I don't think they're not good enough on the ball, so they're giving it away too often. And then also maybe they're not physical enough either, Well, actually, that's not true. I mean, Fred is very, very good. He's not big or strong, but he's very good in terms of harassing people, getting the ball back. And McTominay is big and strong. But in terms of an exact type player of what we need, somebody who can control the ball, who can pass the ball, who is good in a tackle, we can cover the ground and press in a Rangnick system, nobody's ideal in our midfield. Matic is a bloody big statue. Donny van der Beek is a good passer of the ball, but physically he isn't really there. So, that's not the most important thing to me, though. I'd rather have technical players than physical players in certain positions, because that you need a bit of creativity rather than just brute strength. But if you can get somebody who's got that creativity as well as the physicality for a Rangnick style system where he's implementing a certain style that you need certain types of players in, then maybe it makes sense to do that. Hey, Mamasini, what's going on, bro? How you doing there? Yes, get in there. Colin Archer as well. Rush Marner, absolute bloody legend, getting in here. What's going on? Football with Brownie, what's going on? He says, congratulations, Pig, on 50k. Thank you very much, Football with Brownie. I appreciate that, my man. He says, don't put your faith into Rangnick because it's the hope that kills us as a football fan. Well, look, in all fairness, he's not exactly had an amazing start at United. He was doing okay. He was undefeated, but that loss against Wolves after the draw against Newcastle is bitterly disappointing. It really is, and the performance and the disjointed nature of it is what really concerns me. It is early, though. He's only had 6 games, so you can't expect him miracles overnight. But between now and the end of the January window, he's got to be allowed to have a bit of freedom to shape the squad just a little bit, and then we are going to have to judge him based on his performances and his results that come now. To say Rangnick out right now is pretty fucking ridiculous, to be fair. He's only just got in. But he's got to actually perform. He's got to get this team performing well. And I think the midfield's letting us down. That's the problem area. The defence is okay. The attack on paper is brilliant. It's the midfield that is the problem area for us. If he's allowed to sign, we'll see how he can do. But right now, yeah, even so, he's still got to do better than what we've been doing. The way we were set up, I didn't like it in that Wolves game. I want to see a bit of progression going forward into this new style. But it did seem like, and it was the case, that we were sitting back a lot, and then we were only really pressing them, then we get into sort of our third. It's just fine, I suppose, but it's not a Rangnick gegenpress style, and it didn't work out for us. Fair enough if it works. It didn't. We looked all over the place as well, so I don't really know what we were trying to achieve in that game, to be fair, because it's night and day from that Crystal Palace performance when we're high up pressing, high octane football. That's what I expected to see, to be fair, but we didn't. We just saw sit back football against Wolves and let them play, so it was very confusing. I don't really know what we're trying to do at the moment. Football teams do need to have more than one style, I think. I think sometimes if you're going away from home against a really big team in a tough game, you don't want to leave yourself too open. You don't want to go attacking, super attacking like you do when you're at home against a minnow. Of course not. You have to have different tactics. But I want to see us, when we're at home, against teams who are not the top teams, or any teams at home, to be fair. Man United at home against anybody should be taking the game to them, to be fair. Fair enough, it's different away from home, but at home, in front of the Old Trafford faithful, you've got to give them, you've got to go for it and try and win the game. That's the point. So I want to see us work towards that. I didn't see that in that game. He's got to start, if he's going to win us fans over, really, then he's going to have to get us working towards playing attacking football. You look at Klopp at Liverpool, it didn't come overnight. It took them a long time to get going, but the signs were there early that they're going to be playing attacking football. Even if they lose games and leave themselves up and are vulnerable at the back, they're going to attack the shit out of teams and try and beat them. That's what United need to do right now under Rangnick. We need to just get going with attacking football, get at them, and make sure that we actually start to work towards this whole new style. Because he's not going to win anyone over, or he's probably not going to win the dressing room over. He's not going to win the fan base over. He's not going to actually get the results if he sits back like we did in the last game. And yes, you can say the players are absolutely gash-tastic, which they were. But also, the implementation of what they're trying to do from tactics-wise was not there. Surely Rangnick's tactic, it's not like he said, right, guys, we want you sat up on the halfway line, counting the half, press, high press. When they win the ball back, intense as a team, swarm like bees, and win the ball back and fucking get it forward as quickly as possible to Ronnie and Cavani up top and swarm. We didn't do anything like that. It wasn't any gegenpress tactics style, nothing. So he must have said to them, this is my thinking, he must have just said, right, guys, we're playing, sit back, invite them onto us, don't play into their hands and play to their counter-attacking game. They can move it quick, obviously. Let's try and control the game. Maybe he said, let's try and control the game, out-possess them, slow build up, and create chances that way. That's how he's probably set them up. They didn't do well with that style, but he didn't set them up in an attacking fashion either. You can just plainly see it from how we played. So, and how we set up and where we were in terms of the depth and the organisation. So he's got to also get us to start having that confidence to play attacking football too. Hey, we got a super chat here from Gungshi. Thank you very much, Gungshi, for the super chat, lad. He says, Pig, the players showed how well they can press in that game versus Palace. Why can't they do that anymore? Only thing that makes sense is they're too fucking lazy. Well, like I just said, actually, Gungshi, I think that game against Wolves, we were not set up in the same way as we were against Palace, dude. We looked at the stats after that game against Palace, and United, I think it was the most this season that we had been... we played forward passes in the final third, and we'd had the highest up average, like team heat map or whatever you want to call it for the season. So it was like, oh, Rangnick's come in, and he's literally told them we're playing high line, we're playing high up, we're going to press as soon as they get the ball from us. We all press them, and just that's it, high intensity first 60 minutes, press. You saw that, but you didn't see that yesterday. So, yes, the players are being lazy bastards, but I actually personally think that the tactics yesterday were not the same as the tactics against Crystal Palace by any stretch of the imagination. He's not set us up that way. If to be fair, the players want bloody shooting if he said exactly the same stuff and set them up in exactly the same way in that Palace game, and they've performed like that. Because the team was like not high up. It was camped back down, and we weren't getting out to them to press them until they got to us. So, in my opinion, it's a combination. It's not just the players. The players are lazy bastards, yeah? But also, the way we set up in that game from Rangnick, it was wrong. Let's be honest, it was wrong. Kungsi, thank you so much for that. Really appreciate you, my guy. Thank you. Get in there, you legend. Okay, so we'll have to see how we get on. I mean, Scott McTominay has been doing better recently, but the game last time out was poor. Are we going to write him off? I mean, I am, because over the last couple of seasons, he hasn't done it for a consistent enough basis for me. So I really think we need to get a new midfielder in. Fred's looked pretty good under Rangnick so far. He's played, 4 games? One of them was a stinker where he got subbed off at half-time, rightfully so. But the other 3, he was really good in. So can he have a place in the squad? I mean, maybe, but probably not. He's probably not really good enough either in terms of technically keeping hold of the ball. I still think both of those guys, Scott and Fred, though, should be kept by Man United. I honestly do. I like their mentality. I like their approach. I like their effort levels. I just don't think they're top-tier midfielders. But for squad players, for players who are going to come in a League Cup fucking game against, whoever, Sheffield United or whatever, a lower team, yeah, fine. Or a player to come on in the last 20 minutes of the game, bring Fred on and just let him, with that energy, just press people. When we're 2-0 up, 3-0 up in a game, Fred comes on and just harasses people and just shuts the game out. Brilliant. Sounds good to me. But as a starting player for Scotty and McTominay and Fred, nah, they're not up to the standard for United. Keno and Scholesy, they ain't. Oh, Gungshi going ham with another super chat, lad. Hey, get in there. Thank you very, very much for that one. He says, Pig, you missed a super chat from Jonathan Gallagher. Oh, no, I'm so sorry. Thank you very much there, by the way, Gungshi, for letting us know, bro. Jonathan Gallagher, I apologize, matey. How you doing? How you doing there? Johnny Gallagher. Let's go and see if I can find it. Jonathan Gallagher says, you see what I sent you see what I sent you in Telegram, mate, says Jonathan Gallagher. No, I haven't actually. Let's take a look. I don't really know what that is, mate. How am I supposed to? I can't read that whole thing out right now. Right, anyway, so fair enough. Thank you for that. I'll check that out after, Jonathan Gallagher. Appreciate that. So there you go. So we've got the future will be seen soon. I like to live in the present, and I'm happy. I will feel great in Wolverhampton. Our focus here, because if I do things right, I'm sure the future will be bright. So Ruben Neves, not giving any clues that he wants to go away, but United linked with him. A few different outlets reporting that United are leading the chase to sign Ruben Neves from Wolves. So that is the biggest story of the day, guys. We're going to get on to the next news now. Thank you, everybody, getting in the live chat here and getting your thoughts in. We're going to have a big Q&A at the end. I will dip in and out the live chat for all the different topics as well for a bit. But have your say in the live chat. Get involved with the community. Once again, there's 180 of you legends in here. Smash that thumbs up on the vid. Give it a cheeky little like. See if we can get 169 likes on the stream. And subscribe to the channel if you're new and get in the live chat. So, this is a latest update here. Manchester United have told Ralph Rangnick that funds are available if he wishes to make new signings. So, Rangnick is believed to be keen to improve the midfield area and strengthen that. And Amadou Haidar is on the list of potential recruits as well. So, this is a bit more info we got. Hopefully, Rangnick will be permitted to buy somebody in this window is the story really here. Roshmano says we've got 86 likes. Get in there, on our way to 100. Mamasini with a €5 super chat. Thanks for having yours saying getting in here. Says money aside that the Glazers have, I'd get rid of at least 10 players. Pogba, Martial, Shaw, McTominay, Maguire, Rashford, Fred, and whomever lacks. Great comment there, Mamasini, and I pretty much agree with you all, but maybe one or two. But to be fair, you're absolutely right with what you're saying, with what your mentality is, which is these players are not good enough. We need to have a mass clear out and not accept mediocrity at this football club any longer. I completely agree with you, Mamasini. Like, these guys are not, most of these guys are not actually up to the standard. You have to be consistent, United. You have to fight and show hunger every single week and work harder than the opposite team. You can't just rely on your abilities and you some sort of divine right you're going to win. That is not how it works in football. You've got to want it more than the opposition too. And I think mentally, some of our players are not there. They're lacking in that motivation. I mean, Luke Shaw came out after the game and, you can say, it's candid from him. I personally thought he did work hard for the team in that game, but he obviously felt like a lot of his teammates didn't. Because he said, it seemed like there was a little bit of a lack of, people not working all together, basically. So I think that, you have to look at some of the individuals in the side and say, you're not good enough. People like the Slab, Pogba, like you said, Martial, absolutely. I mean, Luke Shaw, I think he's got a place in the squad myself. McTominay, if a good enough offer came in for McTominay, I would sell the guy, but at the same time, as a squad player, as a backup, he's okay. Rashford, look, he's going to have to start doing some stuff now, otherwise I'm going to join you. Because he has been too poor for too long. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. He's young. He's been a good player for us over the years. He's had an injury. He's coming back. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. But he's going to have to start doing it this season now. Because if he continues as he's been this season so far for the rest of the season, then he's not going to be up to standard for the club either. You said Fred. I completely agree in terms of he doesn't lack the ability on the ball for what United need. He does give us other things though. I'd say he's a decent squad player. But again, if a decent offer came in from anybody, or if you could do a swap for, Ruben Neves or something, I would be interested in doing that, because technically he's not quite good enough for what we need. We need control, like Rangnick says in the midfield. You can't get control with Fred unless you had somebody next to him who's really fantastic at that and really great, like a Michael Carrick or a Scholes or something like that. Fred is not the one. He's not the one. And there's other players we can mention as well. There's plenty of other players that have lacked the qualities over the years. If we want to be brutal, we want to have a clear out. Half of our defenders can go, really. Slabby Maguire, Bailly's very injury prone. Lindelof. It's like, if we really wanted to be a top team, we probably need to buy a centre-back too. Mamasini, thank you so much for your comment and your super chat there. Appreciate you. Right, I'm just going to get into the rest of the news, guys. Bear with me. We've got plenty to get into. So, understood we'll have a bit of money to spend in this one. We got some stats here from Statman Dave, just giving us the details on Maguire. So, listen to this. Man United with Harry Maguire since the start of the 2021 season. Played 71 games, won 41, drawn 15, lost 15. Loss rate of 23%, points per game 1.94. Man United without Harry played 13, won 6, lost 4, drawn 6. Loss rate 31%. So we have a higher loss rate without Harry Maguire in the team, but it's hard to really compare 71 games versus 13. It's kind of not a very fair comparison, really. But in all fairness, definitely not. Stats don't tell shit, by the way. We do not need Harry Maguire back in the side. Stats don't tell the whole story, by the way. No, they don't. No, they don't. They don't tell the whole story. I would like to know what the unforced errors of Harry Maguire are this season, personally. That's what I would like to know. He's an absolute shambles. Statistically speaking, we might be a better team with him in there. I mean, that's bollocks. We'd be a much better team if we had somebody better than Harry Maguire too. That's also true. So there you go. Hashtag Slabby out. I don't care about stats. Right, here we go. So, like we just discussed, look at Ruben Neves' stats for Wolves over the last 5 seasons. Now, if you just looked on the paper stats, you would go, this player's pretty bang average, really. He's playing in midfield. He's got 1 assist and a couple of goals, and he's played 36 times for them. I mean, that's not great, is it? It doesn't tell the whole story of him actually ticking things over in the midfield and being selfless for the team and creating for the team and putting it on a plate for the team. It doesn't, in other ways, him actually creating phases of play. Like Paul Scholes used to do back in the day. Paul Scholesy. People would tell you this. People would say, have you seen Frank Lampard's goal stats for the Premier League? He's way better than Scholes. Have you seen Gerrard's goals and stuff? Fuck off. We all know that Scholesy's better than those guys. Scholesy's got 12 Premier League titles. We all know Scholesy controlled the team and ran the show and was the metronome in the midfield. So stats only tell one story, guys. What about the eye test? What about looking with the eyes and seeing how these players actually perform? That's what I care about, and how they fight for the team, and how, if they're the captain, how they lead. That's what I care about. So, right. Okay, so the Telegraph, James Ducker reporting that Paul Pogba, Jesse Lingard and Edinson Cavani are all expected to leave as free agents in the summer. So we knew this anyway. There is still a slight chance that West Ham sign Jesse Lingard this window. If I was West Ham, I'd be looking to bring him in. They're having a decent season. They could add something like Jesse for the last part of the season. And I'm sure it would only help them and bolster them. It depends, though, because they can sign him in this summer for not no money, but less money. And right now, they'd obviously have to pay some small fee, maybe 5 or 10 or whatever it would be, £1 million, in order to bring Jesse Lingard to the club. I think they should do it. And if not them, then I think Newcastle United should do it, because they'd both be getting a good player whom they can use between now and the end of the season, which would be brilliant. Whereas us, we don't need him. He's just here collecting his wages every single week, and it's costing us money to have him here. So I would actually accept a very low fee for Jesse and just get him sold off to Newcastle United or West Ham United or whoever the bloody hell would have him, to be honest. Paul Pogba. Let's talk about Paul Pogba. So Paul Pogba is expected to leave in the summer also. There is a small chance, I suppose, United do sign him up to a new contract. I don't see how we can justify it based on his performances over the years. I think if we did it, it would just be so we don't want to lose a player who we paid 89 million for nothing. And I think it'd be wrong to deal with, him and his agent and give them an increased contract when really, if you're looking at performances, he doesn't deserve a penny more at United than what he's paid. If anything, he deserves a wage decrease, in all fairness. So I don't really see how we can justify giving him a new contract right now. Plus of what's been said and what's been done and by his agent in the media about, certain players coming to United. United haven't won anything for all these years. I know that he's talking about Haaland then, but still having recent digs at United insinuating we're not as big a club as some of the other clubs. So I personally think that Pogba's out. I think Pogba goes in the summer on a free transfer. It's very unlikely anybody comes in Jan, and it's quite unlikely, in my opinion, we sign him up to a new contract also. Gungshi says, rubbish, boo, hiss. What does that even mean? You want us to keep Pogba, do you, Gungshi? How does the eye test fare on Rangnick, says Boise88? Well, it's very, very mixed at the moment, isn't it? I mean, he's just come in. 6 games, couple of them have looked decent, couple of them have looked absolutely terrible, and a couple of them have looked okay. Before that Wolves game, he was undefeated as United boss, which is something. We did lose to Wolves, it was a shocker. The eye test for Rangnick is a very mixed one. If I had to say, it was probably something like this. It's probably like a bit mixed, can't quite see. The eye test is not great. But it's early days for the eye test, mate, with Rangnick. He's got to get them actually performing well. I mean, that last game against Wolves was one of the worst ones because it was just such a unorganised and disjointed performance, and the team just lacked so much bollocks. So that is the problem. That's a big problem. It does go to show you, though, that I think a lot of the players in this squad mentally and just, I don't know, maybe quality-wise are not as good as we think they are. Because that's a good few managers who struggle to get the best out of them. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer got sacked for not getting the best out of this team. And it's obviously it's not that easy to do, is it, when you've got a human fridge at centre-back who's absolutely bang bloody average. And then people like McFred in the centre of the park who are mouldy in terms of their abilities. They're not good. So, yeah, it's tough. It's tough. But then again, you've got other options. I mean, I'm going to be honest, if I was Manchester United manager, I would not have done anything remotely like what Solskjaer or Rangnick have done recently. In all fairness, everybody's got their own different opinions, and that's what's interesting about football. Those guys are professionals. I'm not. But, I would be going for passes in midfield at the moment. I'd be going for people who can keep hold of the ball, who do, people such as, out of the players we've got right now, which is a piss poor selection, I'd rather go with Donny and Matic. We haven't even seen Donny van der Beek anywhere near the side recently under Rangnick either, just like we didn't under Solskjaer. Why is that when you've got McTominay and Fred who can't pass the fucking ball? It makes no sense to me. Right then. So Pogba could leave in the summer. That's a big possibility, guys. Jesse Lingard and Edinson Cavani at this stage is not expected to stay at Manchester United beyond the summer. He has been given a big mantle in the team by Ralph Rangnick, who has essentially said that he's going to be playing a lot of the games with Ronaldo up top. And he's also given him a show of confidence and said that he wants to keep him at the club. And he doesn't want him to go anywhere. And he's the player that he's had the most dialogue with since he's come in here. And he's very much a big admirer and has a lot of respect for him. So, yeah, I do think... Cavani stays until the end of summer and then probably goes. We'll have to see what the situation is then. Is Rangnick going to keep on in the permanent job? Is somebody else going to come in and be the new manager? Would they want Cavani? How does Cavani perform now between now and the end of the season? Also, how much money does he want? Also, is there other clubs like Barcelona or other clubs in the summer who want him? There's lots of different factors. It doesn't mean Cavani's definitely leaving in the summer, but his contract runs out then, and obviously you have to assess it then. We've got a super chat here. Get in there, my son, from Nate H. Thank you, Nate. Get in there, Nate Dog. He says, Pig, I don't get how we can get bosses. Sorry, I don't get how we can get bossed by little João Moutinho, but I'm led to believe Donny isn't physical enough to play in the midfield. Exactly. I mean, listen, this is it. I mean, thing is, though, with this, it's not just about size, though. I mean, think about Gattuso. Now, actually, if anything, Ruben Neves actually looks a little bit like Gattuso in his face. But Gattuso wasn't a big dude, but he was physical. He's a terrier, he's a bulldog. Roy Keane wasn't 6'3". He was a bulldog, he's a terrier. These sorts of players are awesome. I mean, I personally think that Ruben Neves is not that player, but he is a good defensively sound player who has a bit of tenacity, does get stuck in the tackle and all that sort of stuff. But he's just a good playmaker, good creator, good passer of the ball. So that's why we got bossed by him, mainly because the fact of his quality on the ball, his actual ability to pass it and create and play it to his teammates and dictate play. He can dictate play, this guy. And João Moutinho as well. Oh, sorry, you were talking about João Moutinho, my bad. For some reason in my head, I thought you were talking about Ruben Neves. I've had a mare. Well, yeah, João Moutinho, okay, yeah, well, it's the same deal with him. He's technically very, very good on the ball, he's very good on the ball. So, that's what I think United need more of. Quality on the ball. Donny van de Beek, I've talked about this for a while. He hasn't really had his chance. Yes, he did make a mistake in that Champions League game, whatever. He's also scored recently in recent games when he has been given a chance. So I think you've got to give him a chance. He is one of the best on the ball. When I've ever seen him play, apart from in the last game that he played where he made a mistake and gave them the ball for the goal. Apart from that, he's always been very comfortable on the ball. Very comfortable on the ball. Looks way more confident passing the ball around than somebody like Fred or Matic or even McTominay. Certainly forward passes and creatively. So, yeah, to me, Nate, I don't get it either, man. We should probably give Donny a chance. But actually, I think that just goes to show you that, Wolves the reason Wolves won that game was in the midfield. They got created a lot of chances, but because of that, it's because of the midfielders, because they were able to control the game in midfield, because they got Moutinho and Neves in the middle of the park, which actually is a very decent standard, technical, passing, controlled sort of pairing. Whereas United had McTominay and who else do we have? Matic, wasn't it? It was fucking shite. Was it Matic? Well, I've actually forgotten already. Nate H, thank you so much for your super chat. I really appreciate you, bro. Get in there, Walker33. What's going on? Donny isn't a Premier League player. He should move on, says Simon Cowley. Okay, yeah, you share the opinion of Jonathan Gallagher as well, that you just think Donny's not up to the standard. There must be reasons, I've said this, why both these managers that we've seen here recently haven't played him. Rangnick came out recently and said that Donny's committed and good in training, though. I don't know what it is, but to me, when I see Donny on the ball, he looks confident, he looks good. He's just not really given the game time. And he cannot do much worse than what the other options are in midfield, in all fairness. But we'll see. If an offer might come in for Donny in this window, there's still links with Donny van de Beek to other football clubs. So L'Equipe in France reporting that United are keeping an eye on PSG striker Mauro Icardi. Links there, maybe for the summer, that one. Right, I want to get on to the next biggest piece of new news that we've got today, which again, it's speculative, but we've got various different sources reporting that Man United are tracking Dortmund's Dan Axel Zagadou. Anytime I hear that, I can't think of anything other than Zagadou. I want us to sign him just so that we can just do that. We can make a chant out of that song. Zagadou, score a goal or make it free. Apart from he's a defender, but you know what I'm saying. You get the idea. Anyway, so we're tracking down Axel Zagadou for next season. Ralph Rangnick has already started discussions with his agent, Moasa Sissoko. The defender will be a free agent in June. So his contract's running out. We've got another website here reporting that United are in negotiations to sign Borussia Dortmund defender Dan Axel Zagadou, according to reports from France. His current contract at Dortmund expires at the end of the season and is free to sign a pre-contract agreement with foreign clubs at the moment. United are in talks with the 22-year-old's agent Moasa Sissoko about the possibility of bringing him to Old Trafford for free in the summer. So suggestions that Dortmund want to keep him. He's a former PSG youth player, of course. He's only been able to feature 7 times for the club this season, though. But he's had a knee injury, so I don't think it's a case of Dortmund not playing him. So I'm not really sure it's Dortmund's stance. It says here that they'd be interested to keep him, but his contract is running out. So it says the German Giants have open talks with him over a new deal, but his future is far from confirmed. So, incidentally, Zagadou's agent Sissoko also represents Barcelona's winger Ousmane Dembele, a player Rangnick has been interested in ever since his time in charge of Leipzig. So, maybe there's been some talks, who knows? But interest in Dembele is thought to be obviously all over the place with lots of different clubs right now. I hope United are not interested in Dembele personally. But this guy, 22-year-old Zagadou, I think we could probably do a lot worse. In all fairness, we've got a human slab at the club at the moment. We could definitely do with a better defender. And he's also got some versatilities. He can play as a left back as well, But I personally think, what we could do a lot worse. And it would also make a really good chant as well. Zagadou, do. So there you go anyway. United in, apparently, there's probably speculative garbage, to be fair. Reports coming out in France from a few different places that Zagadou is interested in, or not interested, is Zagadou may be able to leave because there's clubs that can discuss a new contract with him. So if somebody wants him, they might be able to go and get him. Basically, is what that news is. Similar situation to some of the other players we've mentioned. So you've got Boubacar Kamara at Marseille. His contract's running down. You've got Denis Zakaria over at Mönchengladbach. Denis Zakaria, guys, a player that Rangnick also got interested in, and there's fresh links with Denis Zakaria not being, there's not a huge amount on it, but essentially this guy we should have some interest. Apparently we are tracking him. So Manchester United are tracking Borussia Mönchengladbach midfielder Denis Zakaria, but there's lots of clubs across Europe who are very interested in him. His age is 25. He's obviously sort of destructive midfielder. And we could do a lot worse. Again, United need midfielders right now. He's available for chump change. So we've got links to every single player you could possibly think of, guys. Zakaria, we've even got links to a centre-back now, Zagadou. There's links to Ruben Neves. There's links to Boubacar Kamara. Who else? There's links to Declan Rice, Jude Bellingham. I mean, we are linked to a lot of different players, and rightfully so. We just need to go out there in this window and sign some of them. Any of them. 2 of them, really, for our midfield, because it's shit. If we did do that, then we would actually be a much better team coming into the window. I think if we signed Denis Zakaria and Ruben Neves, we would be a much better team. We just would. And then sell one of our gash midfielders. Pogba's leaving anyway, and then jobs are good un for now. What is the big deal? Like, these players are not that much money. Their contracts are running out. If you want to convince a club to not lose a player out for nothing, then it doesn't cost that much money to do so. Because, there's talks of £6 million for this guy, Denis Zakaria, which is an absolute steal for a 25-year-old player who's in his prime, because 6 to 10 million, because they don't want to lose a player for nothing. Stephen99, thank you very much for getting in here. Crikey, mate. That's an interesting one. I'm not going to read it out, but anybody wants to read it, they can. Stephen99, thank you very much for the super chat, dude. Good luck with that one. Signed Kante says Coast98. Suchek here, Wangu. Zakaria looks good, not going to lie, says Dabo. Yeah, definitely. Denis Zakaria would be an excellent addition. He's played 40 times, for Switzerland. He's a seasoned international. He's obviously only 25. He has had some injury issues in the past, but he's over that now, it seems. He's physical. He's what we should be looking for. He's what we should be looking for in our team. So Denis Zakaria would be a great shout. Rice is overrated, just like Greenish. Yeah, I mean, I'd rather go and sign this guy for £10 million than Declan Rice for £100 million, because that's what West Ham and the Ginger Goblin David Moyes are talking about. They're talking about wanting nearly £100 million for that guy. It's not on. You don't get good value for money with young English players. You know, you look at all the most expensive players in the world right now. You know, the ones with the prospects of people like Mason Greenwood. How much do you think Mason Greenwood's value would be right now in the transfer market? Let's be honest. He's homegrown. He's English. He's 19. He's got huge potential. I mean, he would cost an absolute fortune, surely, if somebody else wanted to bid for Mason. Man, you know, what, 75, 80, 90? What huge amount of money for Mason Greenwood because he's got so much potential and he's English. You've got to pay a huge premium for English players. That's what it is. You know, Man United should be not really spending huge amounts of money like that on one player anymore. I think we should be a little bit more clever with our signings, try and get a few more gems. You know, you look at, didn't Liverpool pay £8 million for Robertson? You know what, we need to get, you know, we need to get some of those gems of ourselves through again. It can happen. Look at how many great players Alex Ferguson signed for chump change. Their scouting network would identify great talent, and we'd bring a player in for not very much money, and they'd be a huge success, because it's not all about price tag. It's not all about what nation you play for. It's actually about how good you are and how committed you are and how consistent you are. That's what it's actually about. So price tag and where you're from and how much extra premium you've got on you because of the league you play in is bullshit. Doesn't mean anything to me. I'm interested in quality players. I don't care where they're from, to be honest, at this stage. So, yeah. Yes, exactly. Keane, he's free, says Scott Hutchinson. You what? Kamara, Haidara, and Koundé for about the right amount. Exactly, John Shepherd. So you're talking about getting a good few players here that all have the potential to go on and be great players. And then you could just get one Declan Rice for those three players. It just does not make sense. Thank you, Rushmano. We have an update on Neves here, pal. Really appreciate you, dude. So, interesting update here. Interesting stuff. So 90 Min reporting that Man United remain keen on Ruben Neves and are open to the possibility of making a bid this month. Wolves are understood to be ready to listen to offers and have indicated to his intermediaries that they would sanction a deal if their asking price is met. This is from Graham Bailey from 90 Min. Fair enough. Sounds pretty interesting. Remain keen on Ruben Neves and are open to the possibility of making a bid this month. Wolves are understood to be ready to listen to offers. I mean, essentially, if you are Wolves, if you get a good enough offer, then you would sell the player. You know, they actually have a good, they seem to have a pretty good recruitment team there, you know, and they're obviously, they've built a good squad over the years. If they can get good money for their players, you've seen it previously with, was it Jota? Yeah, Jota went to Liverpool and stuff. You know, they can't keep hold of their players, essentially. They're Wolverhampton Wanderers. Really, they're a championship side playing in the Premier League, let's be honest. So, you know, they've cemented themselves now as a Premier League team, don't get me wrong. But really, that's what they are. So, to me, you know, it's hard for them to stay, to keep hold of their best players. They'll probably lose one every year. It's just how it is. So, they can get some good money for him, though. And then reinvest that, and they might be better off overall as a team. Who knows? So there you go. Right, I'll just get into the rest of the news, please. Once again, if you're just joining us right now, there's 244 of you heroes in here. Smash that like button, hit the subscribe button. If it's your first time here, please do get yourself subscribed to the channel. We just hit 50k. Help us get to 51k. Smash that subscribe, smash the like, and get yourself involved, peeps. You're all welcome here. As long as you're not a complete Tim the Toolbag Taylor, then you're welcome on this stream, guys. Even if you're a Liverpool scummer, as long as you're respectful and enjoy a bit of friendly banter, etc. Right. So, just wanted to talk about this. So, United linked with a lot of players. I want to give you the transfer odds on some of these players we're linked with. By the way, I haven't even mentioned some of the other players we're linked with. So, Calvin Phillips is 6-1 to sign for Man United in January from Leeds. So, we haven't even talked about him. There's some links with Calvin Phillips, apparently. I don't think it's realistic. But there you go. Frank Kessie to sign for Man United in January is 9-1 with the bookmakers right now. From AC Milan, he's been gaining a lot of traction recently because obviously, you know, United need a quality player, and he's been bossing it. He's got 5 goals in 16 appearances in Italy this season, and he's a good box-to-box midfielder, obviously a bit of a beast. You know, there's an option there. Also, who else is there? Frankie de Jong, 11-1. So we haven't even talked about him. Barcelona player, obviously. Barcelona may be looking to cash in. United maybe have players that we can use to go in the opposite direction, i.e. Tony Martial or Donny van der Beek. So these unrealistic deals such as that become slightly more realistic when you consider we do have players that they might want that could go in the opposite direction, but there's another link. And then Jude Bellingham is 11-1 as well. Another player we talked about, 90-year-old Englishman, great future ahead of him. We should sign him. I just don't know if we should sign him now. I would like to sign him now, but he's going to cost a lot of money. I would like to sign him now, but we need somebody else in midfield as well. If we were to sign Jude Bellingham and Ruben Neves, then that's looking amazing. We should have our bases covered for the next 5, 6, 7, 10 years. Brilliant. Let's do that. But I don't think United will have the ambition to do that. But those are the updates there in regards to some of the bookmakers' odds for players to sign for Manchester United. Also, an update here from Fabrizio Romano, sorry, that's not the one. It's just in regards to Brozovic. So another midfielder, defensive midfielder, has been linked with us, Brozovic, over at Inter. Inter manager Simone Inzaghi has said that on the Brozovic situation, he's out of contract in June. He says, I think Marcelo Brozovic will extend his contract soon. I see Marcelo very happy here. He's a key player for us. So, looks like maybe that link is off the table. We've talked about that. We talked about the possibility of him in the past, just as an odd, just as a random one, because obviously it does come up every now and again. But Brozovic looks like it's likely that he would sign a new contract at Inter anyway. So he's probably off the table for United. Just another one who's linked as well. Okay, check this out. Thank you very much for the update here, Rushman. We've got some stats here from Ruben Neves. So check this out. Statman Dave coming in here raw. Thank you, Statman Dave. Obviously, Statman Dave, well-known YouTuber Statman Dave. He has tweeted out with some interesting stats, which I'm just going to show you guys very quickly because it's to do with what we're talking about here. Ruben Neves among Man United's holding midfielders this season. So check this out. This is what I'm talking about. Man United's holding midfielders, right? If he was to be compared with Man United's holding midfielders this season, this is how he comes up. Passes under pressure, 178. He's the best at that against any of our United players. Passes into the final third, 108. He's the best at that too. Getting the ball forward a lot more times for Wolves than we do. Progressive passes, progressing play, 76. Better than any of our players have managed this season in midfield, in the holding roles. Tackles won, 24. First. Again, I mean, there you go. Stats are important, but they're not the be-all and end-all, as I discussed earlier, because, Slabby Maguire, so I don't care about his stats. There's obviously stats that don't tell the whole story. You can stuff your Frank Lampard versus Scholesy argument up your ass with your stats, to be honest. But some things are, this does tell a story, though. It does tell a story. Our current players are not good enough. And Ruben Neves, obviously, is doing better than our players, man. In every bloody department there, Social United. Well, yeah, I'm sure there might be some other stats, but in the key sort of areas here of what United are trying to do, like actually have somebody who can tackle, actually have somebody who can play the ball forward and create play and also progress play. So just create, not just like siving through balls and things like that, but actually just passes that get us going as well, like little ones out wide or just short ones that actually progress play. Then he's better than all of our players. So what are we even talking about here? What we've been talking about, we should go and sign something like that. Our midfielders are just weak. This is what I'm saying. That goes to show you even more so that our midfielders are basically lower side standard players. Lower Premier League standard players should be playing for fucking Norwich City, mate. Calling themselves a canary. That's what they should be, in all fairness. But they're actually playing for Man United. If you look at statistically, so why is it that Wolves is holding midfielder? He's a good player. That's why we should be interested in signing. But why is it that Wolves, a mid-table team, and their midfielder are able to have better stats in those sorts of departments than our players? It just seems wrong. We do need an overhaul in the midfield. It's a fucking joke. Oh, right. Okay, so that is pretty interesting. Ruben Neves holding midfielder this season. Right then, I'm just going to get into a couple of other little bits before. Thank you very much for the update there, Rushman. I really appreciate that. Also, Sky, hang on, we got an update here. Rushman says, Manchester United are in the market for a midfielder. Boubacar, Kamara, and Ruben Neves are two of the number of players. Oh, yes, so we said that at the start of the stream, absolutely on Sky Sports. They're reporting that, Boubacar, Kamara, and Ruben Neves are the players we've maybe got the most interest in right now. We are, they're two of a number of players, I should say, that we're looking at. So, yes, Ruben Neves is absolutely a player that we should be signing. Guys, should we sign Ruben Neves in this January window for £40 million? Let's just say it might cost that much. 35 maybe. Let me know. Smash a yes or a no in the live chat. Should we sign Ruben Neves in this window for £40 million? Yes or no? Lots of you putting a 1 in the live chat. You know the drill already. I didn't ask for a 1, I asked for a yes. Gangshi says yes. AR Dan, Gangster, Scott Hutchinson, Batman, Johnny, Nah, says Gav Morgan. So there's a few people not interested in him. I did see a couple of people at the start of the stream saying, no thanks, don't want Ruben Neves. I mean, I don't really understand why. He's young. He's got those Portuguese vibes. He's played for Portugal over 20 times, so he's in the setup. That can only bode well for working with people like Bruno Fernandes, etc. Ronaldo, Dallo. He's also statistically okay. His stats are not fantastic, but that's because he's playing in a deeper defensive sort of midfield. Not truly defensive, but he is a holding player. He's a holding defensive midfielder who's got more tackles than our defensive holding midfielders this season. So he is a defensive midfielder. He's a creative, deep line playmaker, is probably what I would consider him. But he can also score your goal every now and then. He can also do the defending and do some of the dirty work that you want him to do. So I don't know why people aren't interested in him. He's not a big, tall, strong, Dennis Zakaria or Wilfred Ndidi type player, but he is a tenacious player. He is a committed player. And aside from that, he's only 24. He's actually had like nearly 200 games in the Premier League. He's 24. He's ready to take the step up. Some clubs got to be interested in bringing him in. We could do a heck of a lot worse than Ruben Neves. We just talked about the statistics there from Statman Dave, with his tweet there. How about the amounts of different progressive passes and forward passes and tackles compared to ours? He's clearly better than what we've got at the moment then. If he's doing it in a worse team, but he's having more joy at the role that we want, that we need, then I'd say that he's better, isn't he? He's better than them then. So he'd be a better option for Manchester United right now than McTominay or Fred or even Matic, in my opinion. I think he is definitely the one to go for because of the experience in the Prem and his robustness. He's played almost every single game for Wolves over the last few seasons. Like he very rarely has a day off. He plays every single game. So in those departments, I think he's definitely a great signing for us. Plus, you get 7-8 years out of this guy. He's 24, 7-8 years. He's not even anywhere near his peak. Midfield, he's going to peak at, 27, 28, 29, 30. He's going to peak later. So he's not even anywhere near his peak. I think he's a brilliant signing. If United can actually sign him, I think it'd be a brilliant signing. Because he's got the proven Prem experience too. Yeah, no, I agree, Randon Lewis. He says, forget the stats. Stats are misleading. Hey, I totally agree. I said that earlier on. However, these stats do mean something. They are an indicator of what, if you look at those stats. He's obviously cooler on the ball. That's what that passes under pressure means. Passes into the final third more than all our others. He's more creative too. Progressive passes, getting us playing. He's, dictating play more. Tackles one. He's more fucking defensive than these twats. So they do mean something. That's just this season, though. That's just this season, obviously, but still, it does mean something. Right, let's get into the latest news here. Let's get into the latest other news I've got. I've got a little bit more to talk about from this point of view. So, James Ducker at the Telegraph reporting that Ralph Rangnick is facing a battle to quell dressing room unrest. At Man United, he's trying to he's struggling to ease the tensions in the dressing room. It's understood that there's certain members of the senior squad are unhappy, whatever the situation. Lots of players looking to leave the club right now because of wanting to leave, not getting the game time, Martial or whoever. There's loads. Lingard, Donny, Pogba, all the rest of them. There's loads of players up in the air at United right now. And so morale at the club is very low. I think there's an easy fix to all this. It's just simply to get them out of the club. Stop fanning around. Let's just have a mass exodus. Let's have, not an exodus, a mass fire sale. Let's just sell all these guys. Have a massive jumble sale. There you go. I'll get my old wallpaper table out, my wallpaper table out, and we'll just set up a yard sale. We'll stick Slabby Maguire out there for £2.50. We'll stick Phil No Bones Jones out there for £3.50. And we'll put a few other players out there too. We'll have a yard sale. That's what United need to do. Get the fuck out of our club, all these guys who are gash, pretty much. And all the players that want away, well, let them go away then. We don't want players who don't want to be here. But also, other reports coming out to say that... So Mike McGrath of the Telegraph reporting that Mike Phelan has been asked to help unify the dressing room at Man United and prevent the club's season falling into further disarray. He's seen as the ideal man to build bridges in a dressing room which is divided into cliques. Is he Mike Phelan? Fair enough. Well, I mean, he is a senior member. Obviously, he's Mr. Manchester United. He's been here, he's done it, all of it. So maybe, but it just goes to show you there's some unrest at the club at the moment behind the scenes, and it's not good, guys. It's not a good look for United. That's pretty much the latest United news there. I'm going to get back into it in a second. Actually, just two things I want to talk about from other teams a little bit here. Do us a favor, smash that like on the video. If you're just joining us, let's see if we can get 169 likes on the stream. Smash the subscribe if you're new. Get yourself involved in the chat. I will have a big Q&A in a minute as well. I'm just going to cover the last bit of the other news. Sorry, no. This is actually, so the Mirror reporting that United have agreed to sign that Julian Alvarez guy. I think it's obviously bollocks right now. There's nothing progressing about that. There are links with Julian Alvarez. You know, we had an update from Fab the other day saying that right now it's not our priority. I mean, United should probably be going to look for this guy at River Plate. Obviously, Argentina international, great young player, great stats for a young 21-year-old player. We should definitely be signing him, in my opinion. But it's not understood that that is actually progressing that quickly at the moment. We might sign him towards the end of the window. You never know. Things can change. But United's priority right now is not signing a forward player who's a young, exciting forward player. Our priority is signing a midfielder or two. So in reality, that's not, if we do that, yes, it's good for the future, but we only can do that if we can afford to sign two midfielders as well, in my opinion. We have big issues in our midfield area, which we have to address in this window. Forget Julian Alvarez for right now. I'd like to sign him. I really think we should sign him. I think we'll miss out on him. But if we sign him and don't sign a midfielder, we're missing out in an even bigger way. So not good there. Not good, but some reports to say that we are close to sign him. I personally don't think that's the case. It's not imminent or anything right now anyway. Trippier arrives at Newcastle. So England international Kieran Trippier has arrived in Newcastle for a medical ahead of his proposed move to the Magpies. And Newcastle have agreed a £12 million fee, obviously, plus add-ons for Atletico Madrid for England fullback Kieran Trippier, 31 years of age. That's all looking like it's going to be done any moment, really. So there you go. That's all done, isn't it? Kieran Trippier, that's a good sign-in. Also, Juventus boss. I just wanted to talk about this. It's on BBC. See what you guys think about this one. Juventus manager Allegri has confirmed Aaron Ramsey will leave the club, describing the Wales midfielder as an outgoing player. Reports on Tuesday claimed Ramsey had rejected a formal approach by Burnley as he wanted to join a more high-profile Premier League side. Aaron Ramsey returned today after his leave to work in England, but he is an outgoing player, said Allegri. The 31-year-old signed for Juventus on a free transfer in 2019. Ramsey has scored 6 goals in 69 games during his time in Turin, but has played less than 100 minutes for Juventus, who sits 5th in Serie A this season. He's also been linked with a return to former club Arsenal, and relegation threatened Newcastle in the January transfer window. So, he's a bit of a flop over there, is he? I haven't really been following how he's been doing over there. All I can say is this. When Aaron Ramsey was an Arsenal player in the Premier League, I always thought he was a great player, to be honest. I thought they were stupid to let him go, to be fair. I always thought he's a really good player. Like, in all fairness, I thought he was a very good standard player, committed, did a lot for them, created a lot for them. I don't really know why they didn't want him, they didn't do more to keep him there. But I don't think that, he's the answer for us right now. I'm not talking about it for that reason. It's just that it's interesting news. Aaron Ramsey may be coming back to the Premier League. I haven't followed what he's really been doing over in Italy. Sounds like he's surplus over there. Sounds like he hasn't been doing too great. But in the Premier League, he was a decent player, man. I tell you, he was a good player. You lot are really struggling, says Arsenal fan. Rushmana with 155 likes on the stream. Get in there, everyone. Thank you for hitting that thumbs up. We've done the 150. Get in there. Ramsey picked Arsenal before us back in the day, says Eamon Barrett. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't want to sign this guy for Manchester United. He's an ex-Arsenal scummer. We don't feed off Arsenal scraps, that are not good enough for Arsenal. But he may well go back to Arsenal. He could end up going to Newcastle United. I think that'd be a very good signing for Newcastle, that one. Right then, that's pretty much the latest news, guys. If you're just getting in, the biggest headlines really. Manchester United fresh links with Ruben Neves. Rangnick's understood to have an interest in him, but he's also understood to have an interest in other midfielders such as Dennis Zakaria, Amadou Haidara, and Boubacar Kamara. So could be an interesting transfer window, this one, for signing a midfielder or two, ideally. Hopefully something is coming in regards to a midfielder coming in. Players going out, it's the same story, really. We're waiting for more information on teams and offers and things like that. It's few weeks after the transfer window, of course. Martial, Lingard, Donny van der Beek, Dean Henderson, the list goes on. So we have to wait and see. But we'll give you all the news as and when it happens on this channel. Make sure you are subscribed. Make sure you click that little bell icon that looks like Luis Suarez's face. Smash that that bell emoji, and also get yourself a like on the video. Now I'm going to have a Q&A, guys, so get your thoughts and opinions in. Have your say. This is the time. So I've been waffling away here for ages. This is the time where you guys have your say, and I'm going to get in the live chat and see what you guys have got to say for yourselves about any of the topics we discussed. Who do you want? Who do you want to go? All the rest of it. Get your thoughts in. Neves is a way better signing than Ramsey, and he's only 24. I'll 100% agree. 100% agree with you, Gary Finnegan. He's actually doing it in an intensity, you know, in the league of intensity that we need right now as well. Solskjaer says Aaron's still class. He's just so damn injury prone. Right, okay, so that's maybe why he's not featured much. Maybe it's down to injuries. I haven't been following his time in Juventus, to be fair. But he's a good standard, he was a very good standard player in the Premier League. Simon Cowie says, Pig, if Man United give you a blank check and said you can sign 3 to 4 players, who would you sign? A blank check, 3 to 4 players. So you're literally talking about 3 to 4 the best players in the world. I mean, it's a bit of a silly conversation, really, Simon Cowie, but I'll play along. Kylian Mbappe, Erling Haaland, those two. Imagine just having those 2 players for the next 10 years up front. Obviously, you're going to have the best strike force in world football, pretty much. So those 2. And then I'd probably sign us, you know, like a true defensive boss right now who can help us out right now. Maybe N'Golo Kante from Chelsea, just for the short term right now, just to do the bits, just help us right now. And then I don't know, a proper top quality class centre back. I'd probably take, you know, I don't know, Mr. Virgil van Dijk or Ruben Dias, or one of those twats from one of our rivals. If I had a blank check, in all fairness, because that's United are struggling in certain areas. All right, anyway. Still wouldn't produce when they don't get the service, says John Shepard. That's a good point. Fair play. Okay. Nathan Buckley says, Piggy, thoughts on Felipe Coutinho coming back to the Premier League? I'll wake up really late, Gav Morgan, by the way, lad. Felipe Coutinho coming back to the Premier League, as long as it's not to Manchester United, then fucking good luck to him, man, I say. As long as it's not to United. To be fair, at Liverpool, Coutinho was absolutely mint. He was really good for them, wasn't he? He was very good for them. But, you know, I don't think he's a right fit for United. I wouldn't want to take him. We don't need a player like that right now either. But if he comes back to the Prem, then, you know, fair play to him. Rudiger, says he in Dawn. Yeah, Rudiger over at Chelsea, so Rangnick's supposed to be an admirer of that guy. Thank you, Big God Bob says, other non-clickbait channels are not available. 50k, baby. Thank you, Big God Bob. Yeah, once again, smash the like if you're just getting in. Help us out. We don't clickbait on this channel, you know. There's no, that we don't talk about done deals or any bullshit until it's actually done. So if you enjoy the way we give you the news, then make sure you are subbed. Thank you for that, Big God Bob. AR Dan says, I would pay Newcastle to take Slabhead to the Championship. AR Dan, that's a great comment. Me too, lad. Like, he costs us a lot of money every week, that guy. Like, it's got to be a cheap amount that you would sell Slabby for. I just hope, you know, like the other day when he didn't turn up, he wasn't at the hotel. We reported it on the channel that he might not start in the next game. And lo and behold, he didn't. Phil Jones started. Now, Rangnick said that he had a rib injury, that he got a small rib injury, and, you know, that's what kept him out of the game. And he's supposed to be in contention for that game against Villa in the FA Cup on the 10th. So he might well be back in the game there. But right now, at this situation, he's, in my opinion, he's actually surplus to requirements. I know it's weird to say because he's the captain of the team, but I think there's almost all the other defenders I'd rather see play ahead of him at the moment, based on his recent form this season and just letting us down time and time again. So to me, I would sell the guy. It's not realistic. Nobody's going to come and buy him from us. But I hope, what I was saying is, I hope the other day what that meant was, Rangnick's had the conversation with him. He said, I'm dropping you for the game against Wolves. And he's obviously, maybe he's not been too happy about it, whatever. And for that reason, he's separated him from the squad for the game. Because he doesn't want, these clicks and these bullshit in the ear messing everything up. Maybe that's what it is. I hope that that's actually what it is. Because I think that we need to actually address that situation. Address the problem of Slabby Maguire being our captain. Because right now, Rangnick, what he needs to do is play players that are there based on form. And he can't have a captain there who's in there not based on form either. The captain's got to do his job. In fact, the captain should be one of the most dependable players in the team. That's why he's captain. He's getting you, he's leading you, he's dragging you, and he's a good player. And he's dependable. He's a captain. Slabby Maguire's not the captain. So while we've got him as the captain, we are just a mediocre outfit because he's a mediocre captain. He's a mediocre player. So what we actually need to do is get a different captain, club captain appointed right now, give it to Ronaldo to end of the season, and then just say to Slabby, look, you're a squad player, mate. Essentially, if you want to fight your way back in and have the less pressure on you because you don't have the armband, if you want to fight your way back in, you can do it. But right now, I can't give you the faith to be my captain because you're just letting us down. You're not good enough for the team. So you can take that, you can have a cry about it, you can go to Mykonos and slap up a policeman or whatever you want to do to get over it, but you're not coming to the hotel, lad, and you're not fucking playing, and the captaincy's going to Ronaldo. I hope that conversation's been had. That's all I can say. Because if we stick with Slabby as captain, we're setting a bad precedent for ourselves. We're accepting a gash level. And we need to accept a big level, a high level, not a gash level. Look at Phil Jones, who came in the other day. The level was so much higher. And I'm not just talking about his performance. I'm talking about his actual commitment. It was way higher level from Phil. Josh 700 says, look at these important players for club. Fernandinho, City, Kessie, AC Milan, Partey, Arsenal, Declan Rice, West Ham. Yeah, DMS are key for every team, and we have Fred and McTominay and Matic. Great comment there, Josh. Spot on. Spot on. That's why we need to go and dip in this window and improve it, don't we? Random says, how can you say defence is okay when Slabby is at the heart? Well, the defensive options we have at the club is okay. So Luke Shaw's decent standard. Tellez is a decent option. Wan-Bissaka's a good solid defensive player. Dallow's decent going forward. I think we could do with improving maybe the right back position there, but it's okay. It's okay. Varane is a world-class player. It's let down by a big slab or the partner of Varane, which would be Bailly, Lindelof, Phil Jones. These guys, it's still an okay defence, though. I don't care what you say. I think it's an okay defence, mate. I think the problem for our team is the midfield. I think the forward line is also very good. It might look shit at the moment, again, because it's not getting the service. But actually, on paper, players like Sancho, Rashford, Ronaldo, Cavani, Bruno, all our forward-minded players, very, very good. So I don't think that's the problem area of our team either. The midfield is where we lose the battle mainly. So I think, yeah, that's the biggest problem for me. In fact, in that Wolves game is a fine example because actually the defence did, the centre-backs did pretty well most of that game. They did concede, but they dealt with what Wolves had to offer. And Wolves had a lot to offer. They were attacking us and they created double the amount of chances that we did. So they had a lot to offer. That just goes to show you even more so. We were unable to create and get the ball forward, and the midfield is a big problem here. The defence did okay. They probably did a good enough job to win that game if the rest of the team was up to standard and held up their end of the bargain. So that's my opinion, though. You might disagree, and fair enough if you do. Thank you, Rushmano. He says, smash a like on the video. Yes, please do hit that thumbs up. Cav Morgan says, would you say Phil Jones over Maguire? Jones started crying over the support from the fans, even though we lost. Bless him. Gav Morgan, I would absolutely. I was just so impressed with him. I felt like a proud parent, man, honestly. Like he'd come in there after 707 days out and just put in such a good display. It's such a shame that, because he obviously headed the ball out that led to their goal, but he's made the clearance. He's got to do it. He's made the clearance. He's got to out the area. It's just the fact that, we're all disorganized. Our defenders don't close it down quick enough or good enough. Himself included in that one. But other than that one moment, his performance was flawless for the game. So it was actually a joy to behold. I want to see him again. I definitely want to see him again instead of Slabby Maguire. Definitely deserves a chance. Professor Love for me says, evening, Sir Pig. Neves pretty much ran the show at Old Trafford, earning man of the match status in many people's eyes. Wolves to United is a tiny step up. It's not a tiny step up. Come on, mate. It's a Liverpool scholar there. It's not a tiny step up, mate. It's a big step up. United are, with the players we've got and how much money we pay our players, it's a big step up, trust me. But listen, right now we need to focus on actually winning things. So, we do need to. It's a big step up, though. The irony, they bring in a psychologist and all the players have a breakdown, says Sim. Man, what a good comment that is as well. Dan Davey comments, I think we need a clear out. Phil Jones gets a lot of shite. He was crying as it meant a lot to him having a crowd chant. Why can't our other players show that emotion? Precisely. I'd rather have a Phil Jones over a Slabby Maguire any day of the week from a mental point of view anyway. Cameron Butcher, thank you very much for hitting that subscribe button. Appreciate you, my man. Get in there. Thank you very, very much, Cameron Butcher. Get in. Right then, so let's cover the rest of the live chat then, guys. Get your thoughts and opinions in. I'm going to stick around for another 5 or 10 minutes, not too long, but have your say. Get your thoughts in. So, Rashford is shocking last 2 years, says Gangsters. That's a bit harsh. 2 years. I disagree with that. Not 2 years. I mean, there was a time when he got 17 goals in a season for us. When was that? Was that over 2 years ago? Maybe it was. Fred and McTominay boss PSG when we won 3-1 at the Parc des Princes, says Ryan. Both are good players, need the right system, and they will be perfectly fine. You don't make that many caps for Brazil if you're crap. Ryan, decent comment, but at the same time, I have to disagree. I think any players can turn up and have a great game on a day. It's about doing it to a consistent standard. Yeah, they're all good. They can all do it on their day. Look at Paul Pogba. He's still in 3rd place in the Premier League assist table, even though he's not bloody played, because he scored 4 against Leeds in one day. They can all do it on one day. The problem, as a United player, you have to be the standard of player where you can perform. Nobody's going to perform to their best every game. Sometimes you're going to have a stinker. The idea is, though, to be a United player, you've got to actually perform to a consistent standard most of the time. Nobody can be perfect, but for United, we should expect them to be committed and actually consistent most of the time. That's all I really want from my players. I don't want players who are messy one week and then fucking, Lessie the next week, or whatever you want to call it. Jesse the next week. Messi one week and Jesse the next week. Nobody wants that. You want somebody who's good, a good, consistent player. That is why I'm interested in somebody like Ruben Neves, because he is Mr. Consistent for Wolves. Anyway, this season, Rashford has been bad this season. Definitely Jonathan Gallagher is the case. Scott Hutchinson says, Ralph has to play Jones. The players think they are better than they are. Definitely agree. Yeah, come on, switch it up now. Just drop the players who deserve to be dropped. I mean, he actually did largely. He's done that largely in the last game. Selection-wise, I couldn't really fault it that much because he's dropped Bruno, to be fair, which I actually think Bruno's a great player, but based on form, he probably doesn't deserve to be starting the game. And he sort of did select it based on form in the last game, more or less. So I can't really fault that, but he's got to keep doing that. We have to play players who actually want to play and who actually show the fight for the club and perform to a good standard weekly. Bot Gamer says McTominay's the most overrated pile of shit. Well, that's a bit harsh, but also true. Mark Ashton says the big issue is you can sign whoever you want and the wages are too high. Players do not sign for Man United for the team. They do it for the money. Sadly, we're getting to that point, man. You look at some of the wages that some of our players are on and they wouldn't get that money elsewhere. Nobody would pay Phil Jones what we pay him. Nobody would pay Harry Maguire what we pay him. Nobody would pay Tony Martial what we pay him. So you're right in some ways. Dan Davies says, I want players that if they don't have a good game, at least give 100% effort. I don't mind losing if the players give everything. Spot on comment as well, yeah. And that's why the last performance was so bad from a tactical Ralf Rangnick point of view, but also from a player point of view, is that it was so bad. There wasn't any real fight or hunger, or we didn't create any chances. You might get unlucky in a game and create a lot of chances, but not convert them. That happens. That's a different story to being not committed. Yeah. Simon Carey says, if we had beat Wolves, we would have been 1 point behind Arsenal in 4th and 9 points behind Chelsea in 2nd. That's how big the Wolves game was. Bloody hell, yeah. I know, shocking that one, mate. Now we're in a real bad situation where we are in the hunt for a top 4 place. We need to try and back Rashi. He seems to rely on social media backing. He's been bad, but if he gets trashed every week, he will be worthless soon, in my opinion, says Eddie. Great point, man. I mean, great point. You've got to obviously watch about this. Then again, doesn't he have somebody, like doesn't he have a team that deal with his social media? I don't know if he actually is going to see any of that. I think he has a team that deals with it, doesn't he? Maybe I'm wrong. Breaking Sky Sports News. Some United players think Ralph should not be in charge, says Philip Chapman. Is that actually on there? Or are you talking shit? Yeah, I don't know if that's actually on there. But to be fair, there was other reports that we'd said earlier on, with different reporters suggesting that was actually the case with the behind the scenes, not looking too good. That's true, says Josh Carter. Yeah, nice. Well, we did talk about that earlier, just not from Sky Sports. I was just wondering if that was something that had been posted now. So, yeah. So that was posted earlier, was it? Simon Lee says, hey, Piggy, I sent you photos on Instagram. Oh, nice one, Simon. I'll check it out in a bit. Thank you very much, broski. Ralph, for director of football, he would sort the balance of wages and hunger to play, says Eddie. Yeah, you think he's talking shit, says Jonathan? No, I think he's right. It's just that Sky Sport, I saw it on the Telegraph or wherever it was earlier. I think he's right. I just wondered if it had been breaking news on there now. The biggest question of them all, why is Fletcher barking out orders? I guess he's like the messenger, isn't he? I guess he's like fucking Hermes, the messenger, mate. It's bad. Vincent Bullis says, Rashford does have a team that deals with letters, but I do know he does do his own Twitter and does get a helping hand on match days with Instagram. Okay, because I'm pretty sure a couple of months ago there was a post. What was the post now? There was a post and it was obvious that it wasn't him. I forget what it was now. But there was a post that somebody else posted for him on his account. That's all that is. But anyway, So looking forward to Ralph putting his stamp on the squad. Many exits and arrivals, surely changes around the corner. Yes, Professor Love for me. Hopefully a couple of midfielders coming in this window, at least one. And hopefully 4 or 5 players on the out as well. People like Martial, Lingard, they've got to go. Sean Jones this evening, all told you Phil Jones should have it till the end of the season. Go on, Sean. Get those Phil Jones emojis in there. Jacob Thornton says, stop slating Scott. He is a great player and a cracking lad, loves the club. Jacob Thornton, the last 2 parts are true of your statement. And that's why, that's why I've said I wanted to keep him at the club. Because he always gives his all for the club. He's not technically good enough for us, though, Jacob, in my opinion. And that's just my opinion. He's good for a squad player. I'd keep him at the club because of his mentality. I like his mentality. I like how he fights for the club and wears his heart on his sleeve for the club. I like that. But what I don't like is the fact that he's erratic with his playing, gives it away all the time and only turns up half of the time. So, I want to keep him, but he's just a backup, mate. Simple as that. He's not good enough standard for United starting 11, so why persevere with somebody like that who is just not going to do the job for you? He's a good squad player, but that's it for me. We are Social Media FC, says Mutha BC Jr. AR Dan with those Phil Jones emojis and Nut. How you doing there, Nut? Great to see you, long-time legend. He says he's got those Phil Jones emojis in there too. Get in there, Nut. Scotty McSauce in, says Ryan. Phil Jones for captain, says Gungshi. Thank you, Jonathan Gallagher. Maguire shouldn't be captain. Who should be, says Chris. Chris Peacock, Cristiano Ronaldo. Great captain for Portugal. Great leader previously as well. He's just a don, mate. Plus, he's actually one of the players that has United DNA in his blood. He's been here before. He knows the club. He's a successful winner. Certainly, I can't do with Maguire being the captain anyway. Gary Finnegan says half these players have never won anything. What gives them the right to question the manager? Spot on. All slamming Maguire's done. He's got relegated, mate. Simon Lee 422 doesn't work. Maybe so with the players we've got for it. Maybe so. K Slater 23. What's good, mate? Says who else was shocked? Jones lasted a full 90. Yeah. Well, that's it. He's had 707 days rest. He's pretty good to go. No, I was surprised actually with all that time out. The match conditioning's not there, etc. Josh O, it's not all about scoring goals and assisting. It's just sensing the danger and press. Why De Gea has made so many save shots. They're ball watching. Should Cavani and Ronaldo press from the box? Great comment there, Josh. Yeah, they just defensively this season we've been shit in general, inviting pressure on. So that's probably why De Gea's had so many. Had to make so many shots. Yeah, Griffo Chaz says laugh all you want, but we miss Dan James. Always gives his all and works well defensively. He cared when he was here. Unlike the other players here now. All went downhill when James was sold. Okay. No, that's actually a decent comment. You can't really... Again, he's another one you can't really fault the commitment on. But I'm sorry to say, he's a headless chicken if ever I saw one, lad. Oh, that's a good one. You can't sack a manager after 5 games as Batman Night fan. No, definitely not. Definitely not. Nobody's saying that. Phil has probably been at United longest, says going, yeah, he has. Him and David De Gea are the longest serving. Jones looked better than Maguire, says Jacob. Yep. Don't troll Phil Jones. Currently, he did great. Forget the memes made on him. Yeah, let him start afresh. Totally agree. Hashtag fresh start for Phil. Hashtag fresh start for Phil. I couldn't agree more. Hey, we're nearly at 200 likes, everyone. Smash that like. We're going to be wrapping this video up in a minute, but please do hit that thumbs up on the video. Let's see if we can get 200. And also subscribe if you're new. Ryan says, we actually do miss Dan James in the sense that he was a proper winger, but he wasn't up to the standard, so he needed to go. He was a proper winger. He could run down the wing. You're right about that. Now, when it got to the matter of getting there and putting a ball in, he couldn't do that, unfortunately. Everybody. He actually had a really good start to his Manchester United career. If you remember, he was our best player for a couple of months when he first signed. Everybody's got a potential. He's still young. We should sign John McGinn. Great signing, Simon Cowie. Yeah, no nonsense, mate. Could do a lot worse, couldn't we? I think Ronaldo finds it hard to be a leader in certain matches because he's playing with a load of melts. Very true. Good point. You can see him looking around going, who the fuck are these guys sometimes? Yeah, Maguire. Yeah, bot gamer. There's so much pressure on Maguire. That's it. Take the captaincy off him. He might actually flourish then. Sancho is starting to look better, AR Dan. That's the best thing. Will Perk Plastics Ollie back or what? It's not going to happen, is it? But maybe it was a little bit harsh what happened because the players are just so shite. Randon Lewis says, no bones goat. Thank you, Matata United, for smashing the like button with a heavy Wolves heart. Thank you, Matata United. Fair play. Well, you got the dub, didn't you? Thank you so much for hitting the like, bro. And GG's. Rashford isn't a football player. He's a humanitarian, says Arsenal fan. He's both. Come on. Fresh meme template for Phil, says Drew. Napalm says Bruno's loss of form has more to do with a change of formation rather than Ronaldo factor. Yeah, it's a combination, isn't it? Maybe the mantle's been taken away from him. He's not taking the penalties anymore. He's not taking after free kicks anymore. So that all of that's going to have an effect on stats as well, and also confidence. You know, if he's banging the pens away and all the rest of it, then that's just going to put him in the right frame of mind to go and score more goals too. So there is a little bit to it. I don't know. Who knows? Gangster Time, Scott Hutchinson, Henrik Kjellerman, we are watching. Thank you, Henrik Kjellerman. I really appreciate you for watching, dude. Keshav Chandan Singh says, are the rumours true for many players about to leave? Definitely, yeah. There's definitely players leaving in this window. We don't know how many. We do know, we can speculate as to who. Martial's very realistic to leave. Jesse may well leave in the summer, Jesse Lingard, but he could leave in this window. It's possible. Donny van der Beek could leave in the summer, or Rangnick could give him chances, or he could still leave in this window. It's possible. Dean Henderson is understood to be, Ralph Rangnick wants to keep him this season. Doesn't really want to let him go, but he might still go somewhere else if an offer comes in. He is on a lot of money to be a backup at the moment, and if we want to get a midfielder in, if somebody put an offer in for Dean, I'm sure United would listen. So, there's lots of different possibilities that can happen. Twanzebe also is looking to go out on loan. There's lots of players that are going out on loan. Here you go. So thank you for the update, Rushmano. So Twanzebe, Napoli, Sky Sports reporting that he has signed. So Twanzebe has gone to Napoli on a season-long loan, guys. That is the latest there. Let me just show you this. Yeah. Sky Sports international reporter Gianluca Di Marcio has reported that Twanzebe has signed for Napoli there on a season-long loan just now at 6:30 p.m. Thank you for the update there, Rushmana. Absolute great update there, bro. There it is. So, as you can see, Twanzebe reports Sky Sports, that he signed. So there you go, Twanzebe for Napoli. It's understood at this moment that it is just, I think there's a 600k fee. I don't think there's an option to buy. I think it's just a straight loan deal, but more things will come out in a moment about this, I'm sure. Well, not in a moment, but, probably this evening. I'm actually going to wrap this video up, guys, because we're going to be back on tonight, potentially, depending on what happens. There is always a lot of transfer news at the moment with what's going on. If anything breaks, if anything drops, if we get any more pieces of information, we will be back on the channel giving you all the info. But I will wrap this video up there because it's a long stream here I've just done. I've not realised, but you guys, we're coming up to an hour and a half, so I better end it there, guys. But thank you, everyone, for watching the stream. Really appreciate you. 9 likes off of 200. Smash the thumbs up. Get yourself involved. Afterwards, when it finishes, come back and have your say. Sorry if I missed any of your comments. There's a lot of legends of you commenting here, but Dean Smith, Eamon Barrett says, this is great for Twanzebe. Yep. Ryan, Eddie's Football Waffle, Josh, Roshmano, Sim Jr., Jarvis Cocky, a long-time legend, says, let's say we get top manager and he gets 3 years. Which players are the current number? We'll save that for next time, Jarvis. Professor Love for me, Sean Jones, Simon. Sorry, I'm just wrapping it up. That's the only reason. Gung Shi, Rushmano, AR Dan, Sean Jones as well. Ryan, yep, FIFA tonight, absolutely. Simon Cowie, Henrik Randon, Dan, Scott, Steve Hall, and Josh and everybody else. Thanks for watching. That's the end of the stream. Smash the like before you go. Subscribe if you're new. Check out the website, UnitedFlyingHigh.com, for your latest Man United news. Also, follow us on social media at Flying Pig United on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Appreciate you all getting in. Keep a lookout for any news later on, but we will also be doing a FIFA Foot Champ stream later tonight. Get yourself involved. Big God Bob, Vincent Bullock, Niall Kame, Eamon Barrett, Professor Love for me, Ryan, Batman Night Fan, Napalm, Gangster Times, and everybody else. That's it from me. Thanks for watching. There's the latest roundup of the day's news. We'll give you the evening's news later, and we'll be back on tomorrow and every day this transfer window, giving you the latest roundup. So keep a lookout tomorrow afternoon as well for updates. See you later, guys. Thanks for tuning in. This is the Pig. I'm out of here. And come on, United, sort your bloody lives out now in this January window. Let's go out there and sign some players and get rid of some of this guff. See you soon, guys. Shit, I pressed the wrong thing. So, bye, guys.